This is the RTL-SDR kit. This is version 3 of the kit. You can also get version 4 of the kit. They're about $50 on Amazon. So it comes with a software-defined radio that plugs into a USB port, along with this little guy, which is your long dipole, and you can unscrew these, and they give you these little short ones for higher frequencies if you want a short dipole. There's also a suction cup window mount that you can mount this like on a window. They have a cable here so you can extend it outside through a window or something. And it comes with a little user's manual, but really mostly what you need to know is go to this URL that they printed on it. Now the only thing about this kit that I don't like, I think is a little cheap, is this tripod, which is like the cheapest possible tripod you could get. It basically just has wires inside these foam things, and eventually it's going to break. So I did upgrade to a slightly less cheap, it's still about a $5 tripod here, but you might consider getting a better tripod for desktop mounting. So I'm going to show you the speed run of getting this thing up and running on Ubuntu Linux, just to do some interesting stuff with it without having to compile and download software. We're going to use only packages that are available from the Ubuntu package manager. Now, while this guy is based off of a chipset that's used for HD TV, it doesn't support ATSC in the US, so we're not going to be using it to watch television. You should buy your own, TV USB dongle for that. Instead, we're going to be using it to look for things like airplane broadcasts. First thing we're going to install is the RTL-SDR software package. What comes in the Ubuntu repository is definitely out of date compared to what you get at their website, but it works well enough for the basic stuff that we're doing. You might want to update that later. It also has a dependency, this libRTL-SDR0, and it will install both of those. The next thing I'm going to install is gqrx-sdr. This will let you tune to a specific frequency and listen to it. Now it does have a significant number of dependencies, so it might take a while to install. Now because we want to access the bare metal of this guy and we're not trying to use it to watch digital video, we need to actually remove this module so it doesn't interfere with our software. And so rmmod, the module name, has never worked for me. Some people says it works, but it's never worked for me. And some people say if you do a -F to force it, it'll work. But that's never worked for me either. So what I've done is I've blacklisted it. And you do this by going into your etc modprobe and you make a file called blacklist-dvb-usb-rtl28xlu.conf. And the name of the file isn't as important as the command that's inside of it, where you say blacklist dvb-usb-rtl28xxu, and then you save it. Now, if you're not comfortable using a text editor, there is a single command line where you echo this content into the end of that file, and it will just stick it in the file for you. And it'll create the file if the file doesn't exist, which it probably doesn't. And the absolutely sure way to make sure that works is to then reboot your computer. Alright, to confirm that that module is blacklisted appropriately, you want to tail the end of syslog so you can see that when you plug this guy in, it's recognized, but it doesn't load the software. And once we verified that the module is not getting in our way, we can run our software. To test to make sure everything's working, you can run the RTL_test command. It'll find the device, connect to it, and then start sampling from it. Now, it may lose a couple of bytes here and there. In my opinion, that may not be a problem as long as it doesn't happen too frequently. It seems to be okay on my system. A Control-C will get out of that. And now we're ready to use the gqrx program to actually do some stuff. So when it first comes up, you'll need to detect and set your device up. So by default, it's just from a file, but you can go to this generic RTL device, and then you're ready to go. So it comes up, has some default frequencies and so forth. We want to set it, we're just going to try to listen to an FM radio station. So for FM radio, we want to change the mode from AM to wide FM stereo for most of those stations. Alright, to start actually listening to radio signals, you have to hit the play button over here. And when you do that, you'll start hearing things, Now we're at a weird frequency and we're at AM mode, so we're not going to hear anything we want to hear, but you'll see a waterfall display of what's going on up there. So over here you can change the frequency. So I'm changing it closer to an FM band, and you can see here there's some broadcast signals here and there. There's something very distinctive broadcast right there. I'm going to change this mode from AM to wide stereo FM. And then I'm going to click over here in the center of this, what looks like maybe an FM band.
Closely by Vivo.
And look, now we can hear audio.
That kind of playful side out of each other.
Now, if you're at the wrong setup, if you go to mono, it'll still be okay. You just won't get stereo. You go to narrow FM, it's not quite right because it's super, super narrow. Now, if you get it right in the center, you might be able to get something, but really it does have to be the wide FM for radio stations, and that's going to work a lot better for you. Now you can see over here there's some more radio frequencies going by, and there's other things in here as well. Now you can see these sidebands on either side of the broadcast that look like they're digital signals to go with the HD signal. So you can also tune into AM frequencies like 1680 AM. You just have to change the mode to AM, and you do have to set up things for direct sampling. So in File, you go to I/O devices, and on your card, where it says RTL equals 0, you have to put in a direct samp equals 2 at the end of that to do direct sampling at the lower frequencies. So we're going to use a program called Dump 1090, which basically uses the software-defined radio to listen to 1090 and dump the aircraft position data. Now, this particular one is in Ubuntu's snap repository, and it has a Karamato 0, which I believe is the source for that. But you can download and install your own. This one happens to be nice because it's already in the snap repository, so you just type a command, it installs it, and you don't have to compile anything from source. Now, because that software was installed as a snap, it needs access to the USB hardware here, and so we have to do this command, sudo snap connect, the name of the software package, to raw USB, and that allows this package to read and write to the USB port to access the software-defined radio. Alright, to start this up, you do dump 1090-Karamato 0 period dump 1090, and that starts up the process that is listening to aircraft, and every time it gets an aircraft data packet in, it just shows it up on the screen. So this is going by so quickly it's hard to read what's going on, but they have another program in that package that makes a web server to make a nice visual display of it. So I've left that running in the background. I made a new tab, and we're going to start up another process. And so this is dump 1090-Karamato 0 web server, and I've found I need to put in a port number for this because the default port number doesn't work. So I'm just going to use a 8881. Now when you press enter, this guy starts web server on 8881, and then it starts serving up the data. So all we need to do now is load a web browser and go to our local host at 8881. So I'm using Firefox here. If you type in 0.0.0.0:8881, it auto-completes it to the local host. So it's basically 127.0.0.1:888181. And you can see on the map, nothing. Over here, you can see here's a lot of aircraft data. And the reason you're not seeing anything on the map is because the map starts by default over in Italy. And so you have to move out and scroll over to where we are, and I'm in the Florida area. So then you have to zoom in to the Florida area. And right here we have all of the airplanes that my little SDR is hearing data from. And the number of airplanes might go up as it hears more data packets from other places. But you can see, all around my house, I can tell where the airplanes are. And there's various options to show the tracks of the airplanes flying. So as these airplanes move, it'll keep track of where it's seen them before. You can see that some of these are little small private pilots, flying around the lake. Some of them are large commercial aircraft doing direct lines to Orlando International Airport or moving away from Orlando Executive Airport. Alright, that was your lightning introduction of using the RTL-SDR hardware dongle to listen to radio broadcasts, see waterfall displays, see what's being broadcast from various frequencies, and in this case using dump 1090 to track airplanes that are flying around you.